to welcome you to another episode of the Wake Up with Gratitude podcast. And I have a lovely friend here with me today. I'd like to welcome Julie LeJeune. Good morning.
Good morning, Julie. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's so much fun. It's the Double Julie podcast. I mean, I don't think it gets any better than that.
You're born in the 70s?
Yeah, exactly. So here's to all the Julies. And the reason I wanted to invite Julie to be on the podcast is she has a really beautiful heart and so much love and charity in her heart. She's actually got over 20 years of experience in the nonprofit sector. And that experience actually helped her to found this incredible business called Wish and Give. And Julie and I met through this organization called Mompreneurs, which has now evolution, is now Revolution Her. And I just really wanted to have a place where Julie could share her story, because to me, gratitude and supporting and giving to others and this nonprofit work that you've been doing, and even continuing that work through Wish and Give, I think is really, really powerful. So Julie, if you don't mind telling us a little bit about your story, kind of how you got to where you are today with Wish and Give.
Yeah, thanks. So like you said, I've pretty much been in the nonprofit charity sector my whole career, really starting back in university. How far do we want to go back?
Yeah.
But I remember sitting in my Nutrition 10 course and learning really for the first time, and this obviously speaks of my privilege, but sitting there in my Nutrition 10 course, hearing that children actually had real diseases because of micronutrient deficiencies. So they basically didn't have enough food, vitamins and minerals, or the proper food, and had real actual diseases. So the first time I heard about rickets or anemia, and I grew up, and in all honesty, food appeared on the table. Like, yes, my parents said, finish your plate, they're starving kids, but you didn't really know what that meant as a kid until I saw the science behind it. And I think that's really one of my first, I guess that's really kind of one of my turning points of saying, I want to do something in the world to make a difference. And I knew that I could do that. So my degree's in nutrition. It's not what I'm doing right now, but it kind of came full circle to working in international development. So I spent 14 years working in international development, first with nutrition projects overseas in East Africa. And then I lived in Malawi for a year, and then all over the world, basically. And then became, basically through that, evolved to become a generalist in international development and helping with poverty alleviation programs on a broad spectrum. So looking at education, economic resilience, health and nutrition, obviously, is part of that. And then evolved further to really falling in love. So basically being in the charity nonprofit sector and falling in love with the fundraising aspect of that too, because realizing I could help Canadians make a difference and connect them with the charity sector as well, and really fulfill their dreams and their purpose. And so that's kind of how Wish and Give was born. And yeah, we'll talk more about that.
Well, it's, what's so interesting is we never talked about your nutrition background. And that's, my first and primary business has been in nutrition with USANA Health Sciences. I've been working in nutrition for 14 years. And when you talk about these deficiency diseases, pellagra and rickets and all these things that these children just aren't even getting the basics of nutrition.
Yeah.
I was actually just looking over I do a monthly order with USANA, and one of the things I donate every month is I donate a bottle of the children's chewable vitamins, because when I donate, the company gives 2 more to the different projects that they have around the world, because for some children, especially in African countries, a vitamin a day is actually life-saving. And you talk about the privilege, right? Like, my daughter gets vitamins, but she's not going to die from a deficiency from vitamins. It helps her, of course, our food is depleted, yes. But for a child in that kind of position where they are, dying and really suffering, and their growth is suffering and everything, these micronutrient deficiencies can be life-changing when we help in that way. So it's so interesting that I didn't even know we had this connection.
Yeah, I was actually a registered dietitian. So that's how I went that way, and then it kind of evolved from there. But yes, that's my technical background.
That's so interesting. I mean, it's the irony is I studied kinesiology at university and I didn't take the nutrition course, which is like the one thing that I'm doing now. Do you know why I didn't take it? Because everyone said it was so hard. I was like, what
Oh,
is
but you did everything else for kinesiology? Like, didn't you have to take biochem and everything
Yeah,
for
I
that?
did. So it was so weird that
That's
I was
harder
like,
than
oh, I don't want
nutrition.
to take this nutrition course because it's too hard. I mean, when we think back now, you're like, you know, you think about that, your nutrition course actually set you up for creating your career and your lifestyle and not in the way that you would thought. And I did the opposite. I like didn't take the course and ended up there anyway. So I love pointing out when people have these moments, right? What was the moment? And I love that you pointed it out because I think sometimes when we look back on our journey, it's little moments, little catalysts that allowed us to shift and change along our journey. So I want to hear a little bit about where the catalyst was for you to go from being an employee and traveling and helping internationally to actually founding your own business, because that is not an easy thing to do. So how did that come about for you?
No, you're right. That's I kind of liken it to jumping off a cliff, but yeah, I think so. I mean, I left I say corporate, but it's really charity nonprofit sector, full-time 9 to 5 work. My career involved a lot of travel. I was overseas 3 or 4 times a year, sometimes for 2 weeks at a time, and with young kids, that just got really hard. And it's possible, it's doable. We a lot of us in my department were mothers and women, and we supported each other really well. But just it was for my own mental health. I couldn't do it anymore. And as much as I love the work, and I'm actually still doing consulting work for the organization at the international level, because I love the work so much, but the travel just became too hard. So I had the opportunity to leave, and I took it, and out of that was born Wish and Give, really, and being able to use my passion for the charity sector, not only international work, but all of the work, and really connect Canadians in with that, knowing sort of both sides. I would have friends that say, oh, it's so amazing what you do because your career is giving back. And to me, it was just a job. Like, yes, it aligns with my morals and values, but it was also a job. But I realized in that is not everyone can have the job that aligns with their morals and values. And that's fine. You still have to pay your mortgage. You still have to, we still need these products in the world and stuff. And so Wish and Give kind of was born from that, of saying, okay, you can still do something to give back and support these amazing charities in Canada without having that as your career, or without being the $10,000 or $100,000 donor, because every little bit makes a difference. And so I wanted a way for it to be fun and easy. I live in Toronto. Birthday parties pre-COVID are a big ticket spending item, and we've kind of just gotten into the materialism of it, and so this way, I should probably explain what Wish and Give is.
Yes, I was going to say, so tell us a little bit about, so when you mentioned about the birthday party thing and how that is, it does end up being a huge expense for families. And I mean, I don't know about you, but when my daughter started celebrating her birthdays, I was like, I just don't want more stuff in my house. Like, she doesn't need it. She doesn't play with it. Like, how can we make this work? And it's interesting, before I met you, before I knew about your company, I had worked with a different company that did a similar birthday party charity initiative. And what I love about Wish and Give is that it's really so much more. And yeah, so tell us exactly how the business works.
Yeah, so Wish and Give is basically, I like it to Evite or Eventbrite, but with a social conscience.
Okay.
And so as a party host, you would put up your invitation at wishandgive.ca, and then your guests are asked to basically contribute to a group gift and a donation to charity. So it's not completely altruistic, but it is, and it's an amazing tool to basically teach kids about philanthropy and giving back. Teach kids about life is not all about them, even though it's their birthday and it is all about them, but it ends up being an amazing teaching moment to say there are other needs in our community. And all kids, I haven't met a kid that isn't passionate about some kind of cause.
Yeah.
And so this way, I have all 86,000 charities in Canada on the site.
What?
Yeah, so there's 86,
Say that again.
over
You
80.
have how many charities in Canada on your platform?
Yeah, so there's over 86,000 charities in Canada, and they're all on my site. You can search by postal code to find one near you, because I really wanted this platform to be helping the small charities, and being able to help Canadians find there's a food bank down the street or a women's shelter down the street that really is doing some amazing work that you might not even know is there until you search by postal code and be like, oh, I didn't know that was right here in my neighborhood. And so, yeah, so basically it's helping the kids give back, put their passion into action. So every kid is passionate about something, if it's animals or swimming or whatever, like they're passionate about something. And so you can find a charity that's linked to that and give back. So then your guests, when they RSVP, the invitation goes out in their email, and they RSVP and they can give as much as they want to the gift and as much as they want to the charity.
Okay.
So the kid is actually getting a gift. I pay the parent out in cash.
Okay.
And then the kid can get what they want. So they could get theater tickets with it. Well, pre-COVID, I guess we're not doing that anymore.
Definitely no theater. But you know what my daughter did? She actually, the one year she did, it was for an iPad. So she wanted an iPad, and she was like, I think 6.
Yeah.
She wanted an iPad, and we're like, well, I don't really, like, as a parent, I was like, I'm not buying you an iPad, but she did this, and it really, people gave cash. And then at the party, she just opened her iPad, you know, and that was the gift. And we covered the rest. Her party covered part of it. But, and then she donated to a global charity, which is great. But what I love about what you've done is you're really bringing it back to the community and helping specifically in my community. And I think during COVID, I think this is, let's be clear. We're recording this in July of 2020. We are, I think we're still in the early part of what's going to happen with COVID-19. And the way that we celebrate, the way that we help, I think is changing dramatically. And I feel like what you're doing, especially for Canadians, we need to get the word out, because we're not celebrating the way that we used to. But this is such a great opportunity to celebrate. And like you said, we're not having a birthday party with all these gifts anyway. So why not connect with you? So you also have, like, you celebrate the kids and stuff. I noticed that on your Facebook page. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we call them community champions after they've used their birthday party through Wish and Give. And then we put their picture up on the website and celebrate what they've done and the charity they've fundraised for. We celebrate them on social media. And yeah, it's so inspiring. I mean, I've got hundreds of kids that have done this, and just, I saw you like put your hand to your heart. Like, exactly. It's like, it's so, it gives you those warm, fuzzy feelings, because, you know, these kids are really making a difference in the world. And it inspires me for our future. Honestly, when I see these kids, our future is in good hands. If there's the 6-year-old to the 12-year-old that is choosing to do this, obviously it's parent led a bit, but a lot of the kids, you know, the kids are choosing it as well because they want like the iPad or something like that too. But yeah, I mean, really, honestly, these are the future adults that will turn this into regular giving, regular philanthropy.
I like too that you can choose the amount that goes to the child and the charity. And then is there like, do you have like thresholds? Are people able to get charity receipts if they want, or is that part of the?
We're not doing the tax receipts for multiple reasons. Is mostly the amounts are small, $5, $10, $20. And I wanted to have this accessible to every single charity in Canada.
Got it.
So there's no membership fees for the charity to be on my site.
Oh,
it's completely
really?
free for them to be on the site. And then I send the money over to them. And charities, and it's really, we're supporting the small charities. And I volunteer at a food bank downtown Toronto. And honestly, it's like if $100 donation is amazing for us. That's what we need. And it makes a big difference for us.
So it's those little, it's like understanding that micro donations, especially in your local community, are making a tremendous difference. And right now, like you said, food banks, I mean, food banks are desperate need of funding. And from what
every charity is in Canada right now.
Really. And from what I understand is actually, it is better to donate money than to collect food. Because they can buy, they have purchasing power, they get stuff at a better price, right?
Yeah, and we have rent and employee costs to cover. So, you know, for a food bank to function, they have at least one employee, they have rent, they have insurance, they have, you know, the lights, all that stuff. So cash is definitely a better way to go for food banks.
And I know it feels good to like go around and do a food drive, and I get that. And so if people want to do that, that's great. But
Yep.
this understanding that a charity needs cash to run, any charity, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
has at least one employee, and they need cash. And also, like, I find the challenge too with food bank is like getting the right type of food that you can then distribute. So
Yeah.
sometimes when we do like a collection drive or whatever, we're not getting stuff, and some of the food might be spoiled or expired and we can't use it. Whereas if we're just we give $5 or $10, they can really multiply that and feed more people. So
Yeah.
that's a wonderful idea. Now, I have an interesting question for you. So what if I, as an adult, like adults aren't having parties either. And a lot of adults will celebrate big milestone birthdays, like you're 40, you're 50,
Yeah.
60, 70, whatever. It's like a big deal as an adult. So does this platform lend itself, like if I as an adult wanted to celebrate my 40th birthday, which already happened, but let's just imagine. And I
We
want
won't talk about the next one.
And I want to support like the local women's shelter. Could I do that as well?
Yeah, of course. So that's, it's exactly what the platform is built for. So milestone birthdays, anything really. So weddings, baby showers, bridal showers, retirement parties. Anytime you're doing group gifting, it basically is automating the process. And so just in June last month, we used it for teachers' gifts. So a class parent set up a link, sent out the URL. It's a private URL. You send that out to the class parents. Everybody can contribute. The teacher wins. They get cash instead of a Starbucks or LCBO gift card. And, so they can get what they want. And then everyone feels good about giving back.
So interesting. Yeah, I hadn't thought about the teacher gift, but even like a baby shower thing, again, you're not getting together necessarily for a baby shower these days, but maybe the parents need a new stroller or a large ticket item that you would pool your money together for anyway. And this provides a way for not only, maybe they're supporting a specific charity, maybe they're supporting the hospital or, the midwives or whatever that connected to their story, because we all, I think, we have charity in our hearts, and everybody has a different way that they want to support charity. So the fact that your platform allows us to support so many different charities across Canada that's really what I love most about it.
Yeah. And I mean, and virtually right now, right? So it's still very important to celebrate kids, new moms, weddings, all of that. And obviously you can't do it in person so well right now. And virtual is an amazing option because we still need to have those celebrations. It's still important to mark those events. And then with Wish and Give, it just makes it that much more smoother. You can send out your invitation. You get the virtual gift, the cash gift. And back to the baby showers. I remember when, I had mine, it's like when you're, as a new mom, you're looking at, you need the diaper pail and the change pad. None of that's sexy to give, right? And it doesn't, if you're giving a $20 gift or something, you can't get that stuff, but that's the stuff the parents need, not more socks, not more onesies, which are cute and make for the great, opening at the party, but reality, let's, think about that too. And so, it allows the parents to get what they really want, and then everybody's feeling good about giving back.
And it's an interesting observation in terms of materialism and consumerism. I mean, that's a whole conversation for another day, but we are seeing a shift globally of what we actually need versus we want, and our needs are being really addressed as opposed to our wants right now. So that's really what's supposed to. So as we kind of get to the end of our interview, there's something I've been wanting to ask you kind of since we started. And, we are in a very different world. The world is changing in front of us. Mm-hmm. So many things are happening that, we never expected or anticipated. And I'm just really curious, for a company like Wish and Give that has so many beautiful ways and directions that it could go, would you be open to kind of sharing what you see for the future of this company with us?
I'm excited. I think, so the website's been live for almost 3 years, 2.5 years. This fall will be our 3rd birthday. And really it's interesting. I mean, COVID definitely has changed things, but reality is we're virtual and it can be used anywhere across Canada. And so, because every Canadian charity is on the site. So I see, I have some big dreams and goals for this business, and basically, be the platform of choice across Canada and help reach all the kids, as many as we can all across Canada, to be able to, like I said, put their passion into action. And also I call it growing givers. We're growing the next generation of givers, and there's kids all across Canada that can do this. So that's those are my dreams for the business, and yeah.
Well, I
One
love
step
it.
at a time.
I'm excited to celebrate your 3rd-year anniversary with you when that comes up, and it'll be probably around my daughter's birthday. So
Perfect.
we're very excited to, do that with you this year, to do her party through your site, because she actually does, she wants a leopard gecko. Very clear. She's been saving her money, and then she wants money for a leopard gecko because there's, you got to buy the terrarium and all this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a very large group gift, and what a great opportunity to, she likes supporting our local SPCA here just in Nanaimo, but we'll talk. Maybe there's another, we'll look and see what's local, and maybe she wants to support the food bank or whatever. And that's what's interesting, is we can explore and see. So I'm excited for that too. So thank you, Julie. Mm-hmm. All right. So my big question that I ask my podcast guests is, the podcast is called Wake Up with Gratitude. We want to be connected to gratitude. I know that no successful business is actually able to, get where they are without having some kind of gratitude practice. So tell me a little bit about how gratitude fits into your life, Julie.
Yeah, thanks. I think it's interesting because the act of giving is an act of gratitude, right? And science has proven that it feels good to give. It's the same hormones, happiness hormones, when you click through and do that donation. So on a personal level, I actually learn a lot from you and your podcast, and others that I learn from and follow. And, it's doing the daily journaling. Those are some of my practices: the daily gratitude, writing down 5 things that I'm grateful for. And then on the business side, writing down my goals every day as well. It's kind of my morning practice. I get up at the same time every day. I go down where the house is quiet, have my coffee, and sit and begin my work day that way. And then also, I'm a big believer in exercise and getting outside. I think it's very similar to yourself. I need to be we live right next to a forest and a river. And so I spend time, pretty much daily, I would say, running in the woods and near the water, and being near Lake Ontario too, as I grew up on the West Coast. So the ocean is very important to me, but Lake Ontario suffices because it looks like an ocean almost. And being near water and being in nature are definitely big priorities and needs that I have in my own life.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that you have that morning practice, and it is a real beautiful way to set up your day. And, these little things that we do, these habits that we might take for granted, but they're actually what builds our entire business and our life. And I'm just so, sharing that message of building that foundation of gratitude every day is really important. So thank you for sharing that with us, Julie. All right, my friend, where do we find you? How do we connect with you and your company? Where are the best places to find you?
Yeah, at wishandgive.ca. So wishandgive.ca. And one other quick thing, if you don't mind.
Yes,
so we're doing a summer challenge right now. And basically challenging kids and grown-ups to set a personal goal and fundraise for their favorite cause in reaching that goal. So my daughter, for instance, is decided to run 100 kilometers this summer, and raising money for Team Unbreakable that focuses on mental health in youth through running. And so I challenge everyone to set a personal goal this summer, kids and grown-ups, and basically give back by reaching your goal.
Wow, fantastic. And we can share that on your Facebook page?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that you're mostly on Facebook or Instagram? What's your...
Both. Instagram is kind of my main focus, but it goes to both. Instagram, Twitter.
Awesome. And it's just Wish and Give at...
Wish and Give. Yeah. And Instagram places is Wish and Give.
Okay. Beautiful. Easy to find you. Well, I like your summer challenge. We'll make sure we put that in the notes, as well as all the links. I just Julie, thank you so much for sharing your heart with us today, for inspiring us to give, for inspiring us to support our local charities, especially in these really difficult times for so many people. It's really inspiring the work that you're doing. So thank you so, so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.